So, what are the fans saying on Locked On Spurs YouTube? And we have a special guest, Doug McDermott.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hoping everybody's having a great start to their work week. We'll keep you going right here on Locked On Spurs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Spotify, iTunes, Google. The list goes on and on. The KENS 5 Plus app. You can find Locked On Spurs and the rest of the Locked On Podcast Network everywhere you find your favorite podcast. So what are we talking about today? Well, it's a solo show, sort of. Later on this episode, we'll have Doug McDermott. Yes, the Spurs forward. I got a chance to catch up with him at Spurs Media Day. We had about a 7-8 minute conversation about the team, his fit in the role, who his favorite Nickelodeon character is, and much more, including what might be beneficial for him with Wemby in town. We'll be discussing those topics and more with McDermott later on the show. We're also going to be looking at some YouTube Locked On Spurs fan comments. We're going to react to that and much more right here on Locked On Spurs. But hey, training camp has started. Can you believe it? The start of the regular season is right around the corner. And let me tell you, some of my takeaways from Media Day were this team is amped, it's juiced, it's ready to go and prove the naysayers wrong. No more losses, no more upping those lottery odds. That's a thing of a past. From Devin Vassell to Keldon Johnson to even Wemby himself, they all said to a T that this team is about winning. And I would not be surprised at all if this team comes out of the gate strong and maintains that. Think about it. Last year, this Spurs team was competitive for the most part. Sure, they had some bad losing streaks. But if you look at it, most of the games were very tight, very good. Sure, you factor in injuries, you factor in the Devin Vassell, the Trey Jones, the Sohan injury, the list goes on and on. But if this team had stayed healthy, wouldn't be surprised that maybe they're better than their 22-win season as we saw. And I think we're going to see a big leap in the defense. We all know that. That's the big thing in that they had to work on is just defense. They were one of the worst teams defensively. Offensively, I think they'll be fine. Defensively, they're going to take a massive leap moving forward. And I think it all begins with perhaps what could be considered the Spurs' new big three light: Devin, Keldon, Wemby, and maybe Sohan. Maybe it's a big four, really. I think those four guys are really going to be setting the tone for this team. And of all of them is going to be Vassell. You'll hear in a while McDermott talk about Vassell and his leadership role at Media Day. You heard Popovich, you heard Vassell himself saying, that he's kind of amping the team up. He's the one that's getting the team going. And I think he is going to be the big one to really set the tone of winning this year. He got paid a lot of money. Yay, worth every cent. Perhaps the best two-way player on the roster right now. So you're looking at that. And, that's one of the big storylines. You're looking at Vassell's path this upcoming season. Is he going to take the big leap? Is he going to be the one to really be that Batman? That Robin to Wemby? Could it be Vassell? It's a great topic. We might have to talk about that in a future episode of Locked On Spurs. But yeah, I think this team is really going to surpass expectations. Expectations are low. Look at the Vegas odds right now. What about 28 wins, 27 wins they're projecting for the Spurs? In my opinion, that's on the low end. So I am looking forward to the new season. So should you. And we got a lot to talk about when the season is getting going. Training, as mentioned, training camp just started. And you already heard Trey Jones saying that, hey, when I throw the ball up in the air for Wemby, it's pretty much I can't miss because he's so long. So that's going to bode well for this team. Devin Vassell saying that there's a breath of fresh air in the Spurs, practice. Look, they've been getting ready for the season voluntarily with these mini camps ahead of the start of the season. That should tell you where the mindset of this young team is that it's all about making sure that what happened in the past stays in the past. It's almost like the franchise itself is turning a new leaf. just the symbolic thing of this team leaving the old practice facility into a new one. That practice facility housed Duncan, Robinson, Manu, Tony, those titles. They were forged there. It's almost as if this new practice facility is going to allow this young team to forge their own identity. That practice gym was probably the house that the big three built. This new one is going to be the house that Wemby and Vassell and Keldon and Sohan are going to build. And it starts very soon. Preseason starts right around the corner. So I am excited. I that's a big thing for me as a Spur, as somebody who follows the Spurs and is with them in the locker room. Still roots for them. That if you didn't leave that media session feeling confident about this team, then I don't know what will. They were jovial. They were light. They were laughing. They were joking. The mood was very positive. It wasn't like last season. Remember when Pop said, "Hey, don't go to Vegas betting on us. We ain't gonna win a title." That wasn't it. You can really sense in the air that this team is hungry to prove themselves. That 22 wins isn't their thing. It's more than that. It's all about racking up W's. So we're going to be looking forward to that in the upcoming season. When we get back, we're going to look at a few YouTube comments. What are you, Locked On Spurs fans, saying? We'll address those right here on Locked On Spurs. And soon enough, we'll have Doug McDermott, little one-on-one I had with him at Spurs Media Day. But before we continue, I'm going to talk to you about Ibata. You got to go to Ibata right now. Look, it's football season. That means pizza, wings, barbecue, hanging out with your friends. Maybe that favorite buffalo chicken dip that you like. Whatever you prefer, look, you can get that anywhere. And that's great. You can go to your local grocery, just go to your local store. But that's where Ibata comes in. They'll give you cash back on your purchases with Ibata. Look, the weather is getting cooler. That means time to stock your pantry up with the latest food, or your closet with the latest, winter wear. You can shop anywhere from Lowe's to Best Buy to Sephora. The list goes on, and you'll get cash back with Ibata. So how does it work? As mentioned, Ibata gives you cash back with hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods. You make sure that you're beating inflation no matter what you are buying, and you can get it now. None of this bonus points, none of these points. With Ibata, you get real cash back. Super easy to use. And that cash back, it could be in your PayPal, it could be in gift cards. They make it so easy. I don't know why anyone should not be using Ibata right now. On average, the Ibata user saves over $100 per year. That can cover the entire cost of a shopping trip, perhaps get that flight you want, or go to that sporting or concert event that you want to go to. Save that money, use it for how you want it with Ibata. As mentioned, they don't give you points. They give you real cash back to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. So earn cash back on hundreds of online brands, as mentioned, like Lowe's, like Sephora, Best Buy, Macy's, and more. Download the Ibata app right now. Use code LOCK to start earning real cash back. Go to the App Store right now, Google Play Store, or whatever you got to do, get that app right now. It's free. And use code LOCKED. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play Store or App Store, and use code LOCKED. All right, we're back right here on Locked On Spurs. We're going to be looking at some of the fan YouTube comments left on the Locked On Spurs page. In just a few minutes, we'll hear a one-on-one chat with myself and Doug McDermott talking about the upcoming season and much more. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk more silver and black as training camp is underway and the new season is right around the corner. All right, so let's look at some YouTube comments left at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page and talk about them. First one is from Apollo24ZZ. And by the way, yes, Apollo, I know it's not a bear. You made it very clear. Sorry about that. But he left a comment talking about those anti-tankers. Remember that whole anti-tank debate, before Wemby got, selected by the Spurs? Well, he's saying anti-tank, that crew, shouldn't have any other Spurs opinions because they were wrong from the start. Look, Apollo, everybody gets it wrong. You get it wrong sometimes. I get it wrong sometimes. Even supposed NBA experts get it wrong all the time. But hey, it worked for the pro tankers. That's for sure. Wemby's in uniform now. and it's the start of a new chapter in Spurs history with what possibly could be another franchise player. But you got to let it play out, though. He's doing a lot of talking, and everybody's doing the talking about him, generational, but now it's time for him to walk the walk, and we'll definitely see that soon. But look, everybody gets it wrong, Apollo, so relax. But yeah, thanks for the comment, Apollo. Other Locked On Spurs comments. This was from Luke Austin. He's saying, let's go. I'm really excited for this guy. Who's this guy? Devin Vassell. He's reacting to the news that Devin Vassell signed a contract extension worth upwards of $140+ million, richest in Spurs history. And he's earned every penny about it. Look, I talked about it earlier. You know, he's perhaps arguably the best two-way player the Spurs has. Defense, he can do it. Offense, he can do it. One thing I think doesn't really get highlighted enough, he's very careful with the ball, minimal turnovers throughout his short NBA career. But nevertheless, he's bulked up. He's added some size to his frame. And before he went out with an injury, he was averaging a little over 18 points per game. So only you can imagine if that injury didn't happen to him, what could have been last year. But look, that's in the past. He's still young. He's itching to go. I think he's going to be that very important piece in this rebuild. Yes, I said rebuild because the Spurs are still in a rebuild, but they got themselves great pieces, huh? Wemby, Vassell, Sohan, KJ, the list goes on and on. Vassell's going to be a big part of this. I mean, obviously so. They invested in him. They gave him all that money. You know, that's going to make any type of trade perhaps kind of interesting, you know, because that's a hefty contract that Vassell's going to be carrying. But I don't think so. I think that the Spurs team really believes he is part of this future. And yeah, he is just, I mean, wow. You know, what you can only imagine. I'm itching to see what Vassell's going to do this upcoming season. I think he's going to open up a lot of eyes for those that are not been watching the Spurs. You, me, the rest of the fans, we know what Devin's capable of. But I really think he's going to come on. He's going to have a breakout season this upcoming season. So yes, Luke Austin, 19. I agree with you. Let's go. Really excited about this guy. In other YouTube Locked On Spurs comments, let's check it out here. We got another one from Jeremy Liu. He says, this year will be a fun year for the Spurs. Wish them to have a healthy season. And yeah, you hopefully that happens. Like every year, that's the storyline. If they stay healthy, this team X can go so far. If healthy, this team can surprise. But with the Spurs team, health is going to be something to watch for. You have Zach Collins have a history of just devastating injuries. But so far, so good. You got a Wemby. Yeah, he's 19 years old, but history shows that players his height tend to have short lifespans in the NBA. Health is a big reason about that. We'll see if he can wade through that. Devin Vassell coming off an injury that set him back huge last year. Jeremy Sohan too. You know, he got banged up. Look, they're all healthy. They're all raring to go. But if that's something to be watching for as the season moves on, is the health of this young squad. If they weren't banged up as they were last year, I don't think they get 22 wins. I think they get more. Perhaps, maybe, just maybe be that sneaky team for the play-in. Don't know. That would have been a massive, reach if they were healthy. But hey, this year's a brand new year. Hopefully they'll stay healthy. Knock on wood, Jeremy, that they do stay healthy, okay? Hopefully we didn't jinx them. Okay. And other YouTube Locked On Spurs comments that go fish there. There's a little bit of eeny, meeny, miny, mo here. We have one from Eric E. This is a good one. The NBA wasn't built to handle Wemby. GSG, go Spurs, go. Wow. Can you already see it already? You look at Media Day. Devin Vassell said, hey, that Wemby is going to make people think, like, how did he do that? Those mind-boggling plays. Trey Jones, after training camp day one, said that all he has to do is throw the ball up in the air for Wemby. He'll catch it and likely put it down. So, yeah, everybody's excited for this. And let me tell you, at Media Day, there was a huge well, not huge, but there was noticeable. There was a French contingency there. There were outside reporters from San Antonio and Astro reporters there to cover his Media Day. So he's going to be the guy wherever he goes. San Antonio, Knicks, Nets, Bulls, Boston. He's going to be the focus. And one thing that the Spurs players outside of Wemby made very clear is that they understand that a lot of attention is going to be given to him, that a lot of the questions are probably going to be about Wemby, but they're going to roll with it. They're going to be as nice as possible, answer the questions as best they can, And look, they're aware of the memo that it's all about Wemby. So I'm pretty sure they're happy to deal with that and knowing that he is on their side, not on the opposite end of the court. And then finally, let's see another one here. This one was from I love this name, Wembayama's Fingers. Would it be worth it for the Spurs to go after Drew Holiday? Well, first of all, that's over with. He's going to Boston. But he would have been a very, very good pick for the Spurs, especially to have that point guard spot beefed up. Right now, it's just pretty much Trey Jones, and that's it as far as point guard. Sure, Sohan can handle the ball, and Malachi to a degree, and Wemby can too. It could be positionless, but for a true point guard, a stabilizing player, you couldn't get any better than having Drew Holiday. But again, pretty much moot now. He is now a member of the Boston Celtics. All right. So those are some quick YouTube comments left by Locked On Spurs fans on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Go there right now, leave a comment, and maybe we'll talk about it in the next episode of Locked On Spurs. But the wait is almost over. We're going to get that audio with Doug McDermott coming up shortly. Just a quick heads up, though. This is an audio-only interview with Doug. Unfortunately, I did not have a video camera with me, but we rolled with it, and Doug was still gracious enough to talk about the upcoming season. What did he do in the offseason? Did he participate in those training camps, those mini training camps ahead of the main training camp? He discusses it and more coming up next right on Locked On Spurs. But first, you want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's located in the Stone Oak area, 281-1604 if you're in San Antonio. They're open, again, every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Their menu is great. It's vast. They got dairy alternatives. They got the signature Mudslinger coffee drink. They have the new drink, which is in honor of Frank Harris at UTSA, called the Sub-Zero. And since it's Spurs season, might as well get yourself a hands on the Alien. It's a full can of Red Bull with kiwi and green apple, all mixed together. Delicious, delicious drink. And it's going to get you going through your day or start your day with a full jolt of energy. Speaking of energy, if you don't want to take it easy, if you do want to take it easy, go to the OG OJ. That is the Orange Julius recreated once again over at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Little secret hint about that, I helped name it. So get yourself the OG OJ if you're in San Antonio and you want to head to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. They're a locally owned company. They're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs. They are all about fans. They're all about those that talk with them on social media. And speaking of social media, follow them. X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Why? Not only because they're fun to follow, but also because they're dishing out new drinks every single day. I found out a new one might be coming out soon. Might be named after me. Not happy about it, but at the same time, I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to be a good sport. We'll wait to see if they do trot that out. Hey, but again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Over 300 5-star reviews. Cannot be wrong. You want to go there right now. Friendly staff. They got mini donuts. They have the Red Bull Lightning Infused drink line. Exactly what it sounds like. Just pure energy. So go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now. Once again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's the 281 to 1604 area. Every day they are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Life is too short for bland coffee. All right, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. And here we go. We're going to play the interview with Doug McDermott. Again, we need to hear from you. So before I let you go, make sure to follow Locked On Spurs on the YouTube page or where you get your favorite podcast. And we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll be back tomorrow, talking more Spurs. Training camp is underway. What are they talking about? And much, much more. So, yeah. Thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Kens 5+ app. The list goes on and on. So for myself and Doug McDermott, you can hear right now, we're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs. But don't go. Doug McDermott is right up. Doug, welcome to Locked On Spurs. How was your offseason?
It was great. Got a chance to be with the family, travel a little bit, and just enjoy that Texas heat a little bit.
You know, before we hit record, you said I'm a boring guy, so that sounds very exciting.
yeah, I'm not too exciting, but just like to be in the gym, like to get better, but also enjoy, being outside, being with the family, traveling a little bit, and just hanging.
We'll get to that offseason work in a bit, but the whole city is fired up for the new season. You can just tell from murals and fans and ticket sales and everything. But what about you? How fired up are you for the season?
I'm excited. Obviously last year was a long season, with all the losing, and we're just excited to, put that behind us. We got a great team coming back. We obviously have some major additions, so it's going to be an exciting year. I think everyone's really pumped.
Speaking of being pumped, and though this young team was pumped before today's media day, they were having mini camps. Devin Vassell was leading the exec, was a part of it. Did you take part of that too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we've done a lot together. This is a very tight-knit group, and we had great leaders. Zach and Devin have really stepped up, being more vocal and mature leaders. And I think from top to bottom, everyone's getting along great and bringing these rookies in, making them feel like family.
Pop just talked about Devin and that he's expecting him to take a major leap forward, especially in that leadership department. Did you see any of that during that mini camp?
Yeah, I did. I think we were in Vegas watching the Summer League together, and he was organizing team dinners. He's been doing that since we've been back in town here.
Oh, wow.
And we've been here in open gym for probably 3 weeks or so, just on our own, which has been awesome. It's almost been like a mini training camp. Just getting ready for the season, and Dev's been a huge part of that.
Is he taking the role of dinner coordinator from Pop? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he's not pouring out as much wine as Pop does, but it's been fun. These guys, they love to have a good time, and they're very, very close-knit group.
Yeah, I'm assuming those mini camps are very competitive, though.
For sure, very competitive. We got a lot of talent on this team, and it's been like they got to try and kick us out of the gym because we want to be here all day.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Are you ready for those wide-open looks that Wemby's going to give you? 'Cause he's going to attract a lot of attention in the paint.
He really is. I'm excited for that. I've been working hard this summer, adjusting my game because I know there's going to be a lot of attention on, Wemby, Devin, KJ, etc. So just to be able to have a guy like that that's going to command so much, it's huge for a shooter and for everyone out there.
You think you'll finally make that three-point All-Star appearance, with those wide-open looks?
We'll see. I hope so. It's going into year 10 now, and maybe one of these days I'll get in it, but really doesn't bother me too much if I'm not in it, but I know I'm up there with the best.
I take it you don't feel slighted that you haven't been invited yet.
No, I was supposed to get in it, and then COVID happened. It was supposed to be in Indianapolis, and then it's actually back there this year.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all good, man.
Well, maybe those stars are lining up.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You talk about the development of the young team. We hear that a lot, from Devin and KJ, now it's Wemby and stuff that. But what about you? I know you're a veteran. I know you've been there, done that.
Yeah.
But where do you see your development as of now with this young team?
Yeah, I feel like I can still get better. I still I'm going into the 10th year, and I still feel young. I feel like I can be a much better leader, more vocal. I've always been more of a lead by example type of guy, but I feel like I can step into more of a leadership role. Obviously with Gorgie leaving, I feel like me and Chetty are like the oldest guys. So it's going to be huge for us to be able to keep this team together, keep us close, and out on the court. I still need to get better on both ends of the floor. There's a lot of things I can improve, and there's no better place to develop than here in San Antonio.
Absolutely. You have a photo of yourself in your New York jersey, number 20, and some guy, some Hall of Famer, I don't know who he is, some Manu Ginobili, draped all over you on your Instagram. How significant is that photo for you? Because that's really highlighted on your social media page.
Yeah, I haven't done social media in a long time, but that was one of my favorite photos because just a guy that I look up to, that a guy that we see every day now in the facility. It's pretty special just to be around a Hall of Famer every day, and it's cool that I was able to play against those guys as well, and here I am. 5-6 years later, and still good to see him.
Is that why you wore number 20 in New York?
I actually didn't have much time to decide.
Okay.
I got traded on media day, and I ended up taking number 20. And Allen Houston gave me a bunch of crap when I got there because it's a shooter's number, and I didn't realize he wore it. I didn't want to disrespect him, but it was great.
We talked about the buzz in the city. You can feel it, you can taste it. But what should fans expect from this upcoming season?
Just a lot of excitement. The way we're going to play, I think we're going to play fast. I think we're going to, obviously play through Wemby a lot. And, I'm guessing Pop has a lot of stuff, creative stuff, up his sleeve. And I just think it's going to be a fun brand of basketball. We're going to play extremely hard. We're going to defend, and we're going to run and just make it fun for the fans.
And he has plays for you too, right? I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, he's got a few. He's got a few. He's got a few for the shooters. You got to mix them in every once in a while. But, yes, I can – even if a play isn't for me, I feel like I can still make an impact out there.
You're right. This team is still looking forward in this path to get back to the top of the mountain, as they were. What do you feel about being a part and seeing it, this reconstruction happening before your eyes?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, just to see what it's gone throughout the years, and obviously the new facility is just crazy, and it's going to be an awesome place to move in and just be able to start our new journey with this new team.
So you've been coached by your dad, you've been coached by Popovich, and you actually coach at the TBT. Is that in your future?
I wouldn't call it coaching. I drew up a few plays, tried to give my insights, but I've learned that you have to have great players to be a good coach. And, both my dad and Coach Pop have obviously had a lot of great players, but they know what they're doing a lot more than I do.
Any similarities in your dad and Pop, aside from the name?
Just their creativeness on offense and their ability to just manage a team and manage personalities. I think those are the main things that they're great at.
So we're going to play a little game with you called Fan or Not a Fan. Now, you warned me ahead of time you're not as big pop culture guy, but you like shows.
I do.
So I'll start off with the first easy one, okay? Fan or not a fan of the Nickelodeon series Doug?
Huge fan. I got a painting in my house with it.
Oh, why is that?
Doug Funny. Yeah, I got
Doug
one of my teammates in Chicago, Robin Lopez, actually got me a framed original pixel from the show Doug, so I have it framed in my house. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fan or not a fan of Star Wars?
Not a fan. I couldn't tell you a single thing about Star Wars. That's Zach Collins.
Fan or not a fan of 90s television shows, Seinfeld and all that stuff?
Huge fan. Yeah, I like watching all that. Larry David, huge fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm too.
All right. And finally, what is your message to San Antonio as the season's about to start?
Just we're extremely excited. We spent a long summer, waiting on basketball. We've been off, feels like for a year now. So we're just ready to get going. We can feel their excitement, and we're ready to match it.